I think we might be.
Oh,
Hopefully.
Yes, I
check the YouTube. How long until it starts? It just still says it's starting soon.
It says live.
What is it? Does it show up on your YouTube? Because this is probably all going to be in the stream.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
It's I think it's the screen changed on the YouTube channel.
Okay, so yeah, should we start the hellos again? Hi.
Oh yes, it's online. Okay, I'm going to shut that page up before I get echo. Okay. Hi, welcome to episode 2 of the Coscast. I am Beth, Megabethbob Cosplay. I wasn't here last week because I got stuck in traffic when it started. Also got Anna from Anna S Cosplay here, who she is also one of the co-hosts of it, and we have a special guest here today we have Ida from Starbit Cosplay, all the way from Norway.
Hello.
Joining us.
Polar bear.
I think
hi, no, my internet is all over the place today, so if you kind of if I zone in and out, I'm so sorry.
I think today we're supposed to be, probably won't end up that way, talking about cosplay photography and sort of etiquette between cosplayers and photographers at conventions and sort of pet peeves we have. So, yeah, Anna, could have started.
Pet peeve. Should we start with everyone's favourite cosplay pet peeve? When you sit down to eat and then someone asks for a photo.
Yes! Oh my god! I was a year ago, MCM October, and I was Nebula, and I had taken off like the big warbler arm, and I was sitting down in the back corner of the XL eating some of that food from Pop Asia, and like literally just on the floor, like collapsed. And this mum and her daughter come up to me, it's like, can I get a picture? And like had their camera out, and I was like, no, my costume is half off. No, it's not happening.
I always get it when like I'm walking around as Zatanna or something, and I've got these huge 6-inch heels as Zatanna, and you just want to take them off, and I just get the gloves off, just get the hat off, just get the shoes off, and then someone comes up and is like, photo?
It always seems to happen when you're already taking everything off. And when you're actually in costume and posing, no one is there to take photos. But once you start to relax, then everyone comes around and wants a picture.
Unless you're in a group. If you're in a group cosplay and you get stopped for photos, then you're there for about half an hour just standing in the same position. Like, never leave.
You say that. When I did the Scooby Gang, we had a complete Scooby Gang and a plushie of Scooby-Doo. And there's a really good plushie of Scooby-Doo. I swear to God, it was 8 hours of just constant. We literally, all we did was move from the front of the Excel Center to the in 8 hours.
Oh God.
It was just, we couldn't eat, we couldn't relax. We were literally just, if we tried to stop, we were just swamped with people constantly. It was just like, it's kind of put me off doing groups.
Yeah, well, we had that with the Game of Thrones group when we first did it back in LSCC back in March, and we were going to be doing a shoot with Kyle from Shades On, and we were on the step, and because it was all completely empty because LSCC is not as busy as MCM, and we were all there, and he was like posing us and stuff, and basically like a swarm of photographers came over and were like taking our photo and stealing his shot, and just literally walked in front of him. And it was about 20 minutes of different other photographers trying to take his shot, and like the car was getting pissed off and stuff. Cause like it's just rude. I think that's another pet peeve. Like when, especially for photographers, people steal your shot, or like go over your shoulder and get the photo of the cosplayer. It's like I just think it's a bit disrespectful, really, because and then to just sort of take it.
At Alcon, there was someone who was following me around and trying to take photos. Like, I was taking photos of my friends, and he actually started trying to direct my shots.
Really?
Yeah, he would just like, I was in there and like I'm like, okay, everyone, like, could you just sit in that position and you stand there and you put your hand on there kind of thing, and I'm just crashing out and he goes, oh, and you should do this and this and this and you should take the photo from here, and I was just like,
Oh
what? And I was like, okay, I'll let the first one slide, and constantly he's, oh, you should take the photo from here, you should take it from here, you should be a step up, like this would be great, and they're just like, oh,
yeah,
and I think
but I appreciate ideas and stuff, but I don't want to be completely directed by someone else if I'm the one taking the photo, or
I think it's the first time I've ever snapped at a convention. I try so hard.
Pet peeves. Yeah, it's basically the same as she said, with the whole someone else taking over the direction of everything. At Toricon last year, I was taking the pictures of our post-apocalyptic Disney princess group.
Yeah,
and suddenly 2 other photographers came in and like, no, this is a horrible background, this is a horrible locations, we have another place that is so much better, and I was so pissed because they obviously didn't even think that I was a photographer, because a lot of people don't think I'm a photographer because I'm in cosplay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am.
And you take beautiful photos.
So they took us to this horrible bridge where there was some graffiti on the walls and everything because it was grungy. Well, I used a plain background so I could Photoshop it and make it look cooler later. And they didn't get that at all. And the most bad thing that we never saw those pictures the other photographers took. They just
Really?
we've never seen them.
I feel like, yeah, unless you want a location shoot, you want the background to be as plain as possible if you're in somewhere like Convention Centre or the XL, which is just horrible taking photos.
Yeah.
Oh, like, some of the places in the XL have got some nice pictures. I've seen some beautiful, like, Game of Thrones photos of you guys. And it's like, the photo is beautiful. All that needs to be done is for them to take away the top of the XL Centre that always appears in the top of every single photo above the head.
It sucks because like there are a couple of ones I got of Brienne back in LSCC when it was like completely empty outside that were up on the grass. I think ones I got with Eddie from Food and Cosplay, and most of them fine, and then there were just a couple, and it's like XL in the top of the photo, and it just sucks as a location to shoot at for cosplay.
Oh, but that car park though.
Oh yeah, that's perfect for every single cosplay. Anywhere.
Apparently so. Even the Avengers thinks the XL Centre's great.
Yeah. I think one of the things me and Ida were talking about the other day, actually, like another pet peeve, is when people like cosplay from something they don't love, like so I feel like I'm fine with sort of people obviously people can cosplay whoever they want, and it's fine cosplaying from something you maybe haven't watched. Say you're going to be in a group or something with your friends. Like I've cosplayed from stuff that I haven't watched or played completely, but it's more, I don't know, should cosplay what you're passionate about, really. I just feel that sometimes, like especially with some massive builds and that, it's like put that time and money into something that you're really passionate about, because isn't that what cosplay is supposed to be about, like representing the characters that you love, really?
You say that, but actually there's been quite a few costumes where I've decided to do the costume, and then I've just because I like the design, like
I've done the same.
Sailor Scouts. I've always loved the design of the Sailor Scouts, but I've never watched a show and actually kind of mocked it a bit because I was like, Sailor Scouts, like what the hell? And then I was like, okay, fine, I'll do Sailor Mars as a dare. And then I put it up saying that this was a dare, and suddenly, like, I had a whole troop of Sailor Scouts, and they're all massive fans of Sailor Moon. I'm sitting there like, oh, I should probably watch this show now.
Or like when you have when you say that you've seen a TV show or something just like in passing, and then the person turns out to be a massive fan of it, and then they ask you questions about it, and it's like, oh God, I'm in a really awkward position here. I don't know what to say. And you like once you
I had that with Jill Valentine. Everyone was making, oh, you were nearly a Jill sandwich joke, and I'm sitting there like, I don't get this joke.
I have no idea what that means.
it's in Resident Evil, the first Resident Evil game that she's in.
I haven't played
And
them.
she nearly gets crushed in a room, but I had no idea. I kind of was sitting there on Facebook like, does anyone know what this joke means? Because I have no idea. So just, yeah, I'm really guilty of that. One that really people that really gets me is when you post progress pictures of your costume on your page.
Yeah.
And then someone else posts their progress pictures of the same costume in your comments.
You have no idea how much this is happening to me right now with Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn. Because I like started it and I was like, yes, because I'm an attention boy, I was like, oh, no one else has done this yet. I'm gonna be the first to do it because I'm, being that person. And I'm getting towards the end of it, and I'm excited to, debut it because I'm wearing it first time this weekend at Play Expo without props, and then I'm gonna wear it to MCM. Really excited in that. And then now it's like suddenly tons of people are doing it, and there's a little part of me that's a little bit like, no, I want to do it. I want to be the first. I want to do it. So it's like a race now, just like for me to do it, because everyone's suddenly like about 10 or so different people are making this costume. And it's just like, yeah.
Yeah. Because I see it sometimes like well, it's not really happened to me much, but I see it on other people's, and I get annoyed on behalf of them because normally they start bitching about it, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's see what's going on. I don't know, I think it's kind of rude, unless you ask for people to show progress pictures. I think it's really rude to, like, just post your own progress.
Or, like, when you see a cosplayer make a post, and then someone just randomly posts their cosplay that's, like, very vaguely related to it, and they just post a picture of it in the comments, like, this is my cosplay, like, clearly trying to self-promote.
Yeah, or this is my progress so far. It's like, why? Yeah. Why? No one's asked for it.
The only time I've ever done that was after LSCC this year, because I entered the competition, and Kamui Cosplay made a post about judging the competition. I made a post saying it was great to I really enjoyed entering the competition, being judged by you, and had a picture of my Brienne. So that's the only time I've ever done that.
But that's actually to the post, so it works.
Yeah, that one makes sense because you're just like, this is what I look like. Because I get sometimes when people are like, oh, do you remember me? I'm like, post a picture of what you were wearing, then I might remember.
Lots of my cosplays, people that I've met during the day haven't remembered me, like, at the Fox in the evening. Like, back in October, MCMA, it was my first MCM, so I met, like, tons of people. Not a single person I met during the day recognised me in the evening, because I was Nebula. So I was, like, blue and bald. So, and I was, like, mock offended that people didn't recognise me in the evening.
Oh no.
Ida, do you get that sometimes? Because you're like a cosplay chameleon. Do people like? Do you get that with people not recognizing you?
I used to, but now people have started to recognize me by my glasses. Because I post a lot of progress pictures, so they're like, "Oh, you're Starbit," because they see my glasses, and then they steal my glasses and put them on their face, and then I'm blind. But at least they recognize me. That's something.
That's another thing when people take your stuff when you're in cosplay.
What?
So yeah, when you're in cosplay and someone like takes your sword or your mask or when you've packed down and everything's just on your suitcase and you're like ready to go, and then they just like, oh my god, can I try this on? And you're like, don't touch it.
I think Nikkei from Beyond Believing Cosplay was telling me about a time at a con where this guy like just took her sword at one point randomly and like a bit fell off when he took it without asking, and it's just like I would be so mad because I'm not the best cosplayer, so my cosplays are kind of all safety pinned together, and if someone took like a proper costume and it broke, I would just go mental at them. Oh my god.
So the first time I ever wore Huntress, it was I think it was the second LSCC. I had packed down and put my mask in the middle of the table because there was no way my mask was fitting in my bag. So I put it in the middle of the table at the Fox. And then I went to get a drink, came back, and there was a massive crack down the side of the mask. And like the bit just under my eye had like snapped. And I was, oh my god, who's touched the mask? Like, this has been dropped. And they were like, no one's touched it. It's just been there the whole time. I'm like, there's a crack in my mask! It's like, you can't hide the fact someone's touched this thing.
No, but my biggest cosplay pet peeve is that people expect cosplayers to be Google.
Yeah, we've had a lot of experience with this recently.
They will ask you everything, absolutely everything, from where to get wigs, from where to get fabrics. How do I make this cosplay? Tell me everything. Thank you in advance. No.
You need to talk to my friend Gnome's Cosplay.
Oh.
It's so bad for you. It's so bad for you, Ida, that you have your FAQ on your blog that says like, "Don't ask me where my wigs are from," because you constantly get it.
I have to, or I will go mad. It's horrible. I'm going insane. I'm fine.
It's also like, how did you do this? And like, I had like with Yang, like, because I've got like I couldn't find any copper bias, so I used ribbon. But everyone's like, how did you do the lining? How did you do the corners on that thing? I'm like, I just kind of sewed it.
Yes, exactly. You take the fabric, you sew it together, and then you have a cosplay.
I think what they want is to make.
How did you get it? Yeah. Or another one is like, how did you make that top to fit you so well? I'm like, well, I took my work shirt and I drew around it.
Yeah, literally no one's ever asked me how I get my cosplays to fit me because, like, they don't. So.
I don't think they're supposed to.
No. I mean, you know, they're supposed to fall off halfway through the day.
Yes.
It's fine.
They're supposed to do that.
I'm meant to go naked, it's fine.
Yeah. Oh. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at sewing.
You're getting much better. That came out very good.
Thank you. It's like, Alicia, because I was like looking at, a year, because it's like exactly a year ago, you know, when I was doing Nebula, and like that top was one of the first things I made that was all completely sewn together, and it's absolutely hideous. It's so badly made. And it's all wonky and everything, but then I'm looking at Aloy and Sarah that I'm making at the moment, and I'm just like, I'm still, you know, obviously hating what I'm making, because who doesn't? But I'm actually, you know, looking at it like, okay, my sewing has improved so much. I can actually sew in a straight line now. I know what different things do, so yeah.
Please tell me your ways of sewing in a straight line. I still can't sew in a straight line.
I can't if it's a sleeve, because, you know,
sleeves.
fuck sleeves.
It's taken me 5 years to master sleeves.
Your sleeve trouble you've been having, Ida, with Llewellyn.
My sleeves literally gave me bruises. I popped blood vessels from making too tight sleeves.
Oh,
I'm a professional cosplayer, you guys.
It took me so long to try and figure out how to do like I kind of like started off doing lots of spandex suits, and you think, you know, my thank you, but my initial theory is if the sleeve is small, it doesn't matter. Stretched.
Oh, God,
getting spandex sleeves to spandex suit is not easy. And then there's when you finally got the sleeve right and the fit's right, and you put your sleeve in, you sew it together, and then you turn it inside out and realize that you've put the fabric the wrong way around.
Oh, I did that last night. I was sewing in the sleeves for the top for Aloy, and I spent like ages and ages pinning it and sewing it, and then I realised because the top was inside out and the sleeve was the right way around when I sewed it. So I had to unpick that, and
I do it all the time. Like, I'll have so you're supposed to have nice fabric against nice fabric. So like the outside of the jacket facing you, and then like always sew the sleeve in the wrong way round.
Yeah,
always.
I think everyone does.
Yes.
I only did it once, which I think is an achievement, to be fair.
I'm getting better. Like my tally costume over there, like the sleeves went in right, but now I've realised that this sleeve is like the bit between the neck and the sleeve here. That's 10 centimeters on this side, 15 centimeters on this side, and I'm not sure how that happened. I've just gone with it.
for Melisandre really badly because it was like one of the first times of me using sewing pattern properly, and the sleeve was just so tight I couldn't get my arms above here. So that's been like my main priority with Aloy, because obviously she's an archer, so I need to be able to have photos where I'm like that. So gotta make sure those sleeves are nice and loose.
We just had Bryn's fandoms has just said, I hate sleeves too, they are the worst.
They are, I feel you. I hate sleeves. I don't think there's anyone on the planet that enjoys sewing sleeves.
Although, the other day, when I was making Yang, I was so proud of myself. I've mastered the Snow White sleeve.
What, the puff sleeve?
Yeah, no, I've mastered
it. Can you help me? Because I need to do that for my next cosplay.
Yeah, of course. It took me like 6 goes in a sleep-deprived state to figure it out, but then I went to bed and woke up and it was like perfect sense.
What's that for?
Yang from Ruby.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I want to do her something. I want to do her. I
couldn't figure out how to do it, so I just did the Snow White version. But like Snow White's obviously like red. It's like blue underneath and like red underneath and blue on top. So instead of and you have to like sew different panels together. But instead of that, I just made one giant piece.
Okay.
But you have to pleat it before you sew it in, which means you have to account for the pleats when you make the design, and that was just a pain.
I'm going to suck at that. I just had a message on Facebook from my friend Jessie. It says, sorry, but I enjoy sewing sleeves. You're a masochist. You are.
If Imogen said my sleeves
you should
were
feel proud about liking
that
sleeves,
pattern?
Jessie.
Imogen's bitching about her sleeves on the YouTube chat as well.
What's she saying?
She said, my sleeves for Sansa. What was that pattern?
I think
someone else
might
said Josephine sleeves though.
Because I used like a Sansa pattern for Melisandre, and my sleeve was way too small.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
Imogen just sent me a message saying so helpful. So I think I might have her saying you're live. So I don't know. Use the YouTube comments, people. It's more helpful.
Have you ever made like a sleeve like before you really ever like master it? You made it to fit this bit here, but you forgot that the rest of your arm needs to go through it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it fits this bit perfectly, but then you can't get like your bicep through.
Yeah.
Is that just me that's done that?
No, I've done that also. So I have the problem with trying to get stuff to fit my hips because I have really broad shoulders and quite really wide hips, but I've got quite a small waist. So when I make tops and stuff, and I measure like around my shoulders, it's just a nightmare getting clothes to fit me, and they never do. So
I've started putting zips in the back of all my tops now because I have quite big boobs. And so it's a pain to get things that are not stretchy to fit me properly. So like my Rin top, my Cora top, like my Rise top, all have zips up the back that are hidden by the hair in the wigs.
What did you were saying the other day, Ida, that you always forget that you have boobs when you're making stuff?
Yes. I always forget I have boobs. Kind of just slip my mind every time. I even have a bra on my dress form, but still my boobs always come as a surprise when I put on the costume.
Hello.
Oh, what are those?
Annoying thing when you're making tight-fitting clothing out of a non-stretch material. So then you're like passing it on the dress form, and then like sew it up, and when you go and put it back on the dress form, you can't because the dress form doesn't
fit.
Yeah. No, your dress form isn't squishy.
It's not squishy like a body.
No.
I need a squishy dress form.
I had to leave it at home. I've been having to pattern stuff out, like on the floor, guessing whether it fits my body or not.
I've just had to make
big.
I've just had to make this massive cape, like huge cape, in a space of about 1 meter square on my bedroom floor because there's no other space. This cape's like huge, like 4 meter semicircle cape, and I'm like, I've got no space.
Talking about big cosplay builds, I can't wait to see your Cinderella, Ida. Because the progress picture you posted, big skirt. Have you been making it recently or not?
Not at all. I literally just put on my hoop skirt and then I tucked in some of the fabric I had and Wow, it's a skirt, so I haven't done no sewing at all, but I will begin after MCM, which I'm very excited about. Both MCM and Cinderella. But I'm going to die making Cinderella, but it's going to be fun.
It's gorgeous.
I'm going to be very poofy.
I am so excited for MCM though. That should be really good.
I don't even want to think about MCM. I've got too many costumes to do. I'm just.
What have you got to make? I'm pretty much ready for MCM.
For me, it's not just MCM because I've got. So for MCM, I have Sokka and Katara that I'm doing with my brother. I need to finish Tally, and then I also have a Batgirl commission I need to do. And then 2 weeks after that, I'm off to BlizzCon, so I need to finish my Blizzard costume.
Don't brag about it, you know.
And then a week after that, I'm off to Otterfest Aurora in Calgary, and I have 2 costumes. One of which is already gone, Mulan. Like I need to remake her, and then I've also got to remake my Rin top because we've got this beautiful hotel that we're shooting Fate Unlimited Blade Works in. So I need to remake my Rin top. And over that, I've agreed to do this prop challenge where my friend in Canada is making me an oversized prop, and I need to make the costume that goes with it, but I don't know what it is yet.
Oh.
But I have no sewing capabilities. Huh?
Not telling you what it is.
I have to guess what the character is when he makes the prop.
Oh, that's mean.
But I basically have to make all these costumes that I need to wear. I need to make before I go to LA.
When are you going?
So I'm going to LA in 4.5 weeks.
Oh crap! Wow. I don't envy you. I'm pretty much ready for like MCM because I'm not going to a Winter Film and Comic Con because it's moved to Brighton. And for MCM,
Peter, you're not ready, are you?
No. Oh, yeah. I mean, you're pretty ready. Alan's like, you're like good halfway done, aren't you? Like more than halfway, I'd say.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like I am, but I think I am.
The top's like pretty much done. And then there's just the trousers.
The sleeves are still giving me hell.
Really?
So I have to fix the sleeves. They look okay from here, but on the back, it's like puffing out all the way here. I don't even know what's going on, but it looks horrible. So
it looks fine.
I should be able to fix it.
Well, how's Katniss going as well?
Huh?
How's Katniss going? Because I saw the other day, like when you were making it during the Inquisition hangout. But yeah.
I think Katniss is going quite well, which surprises me. So that probably means that something will go wrong very soon. Because if something is going well, that means that something is going to break.
Something's going to go wrong soon.
Yeah. The cosplay curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should definitely come and wear it to the London premiere. Come join us. I don't know if I can go or not. Whether I can get down from Manchester.
You should.
I want to go. It's like just
When's
before
the
my
premiere?
birthday.
5th of November?
Oh, it's not just before my birthday. It's a few weeks. Huh. No, I can't go then. Damn it.
Nah.
No.
I would offer to take your place, but I'm in LA.
I hope I can go.
Wow. You're really missing out going to the Mockingjay premiere, instead of being in LA.
Well, Jennifer Lawrence is not in LA at exactly that time.
Is she going to be at the London premiere, do you reckon?
Huh?
Is she going to be at the London premiere, do you reckon?
Yes, it was just announced today.
Oh, I want to go.
Are we gonna come? Am I gonna come back to like headlines of like cosplayer abducts Jennifer Lawrence?
No.
She'll just
Never.
Yeah.
I have room in my closet.
You'll kidnap. No one will know because you'll kidnap her and then like you'll steal her identity with your like crazy Jennifer Lawrence makeup.
You're stealing her for reference.
It's a makeup reference.
Yeah.
Makeup reference.
I'm gonna steal Jennifer Lawrence and use her as a really good makeup reference. That sounds like a very good plan.
Should we actually like talk about cosplay photography like we were supposed to?
Oh, right.
Yeah, so random thing. I'm started taking up taking my camera again because I got started in cosplay photography, then I became a cosplayer, then I went back into cosplay photography, and I'm just sitting here, just happily snapping away. You know, oh Beth, I'm going to take photos of you. Oh, like my friend, I'm going to take photos of you. And I got I didn't even register that other people would be looking at my photography, and when I went to the Eurogame there, EGX the couple weekends ago. Turns out other photographers are just talking about it. Yeah, you should leave the photography to the photographers because we can't have you taking over everything.
I love your photos.
Sorry?
Anna took my Brienne photos in the forest that we did. Was it last month or the month before? I can't remember.
That forest is awesome.
They're lovely. Yeah, I miss it. I miss the forest.
Thank you.
Right next door to it was convenient, but now I live in the middle of a city, so yeah.
Love me some cosplay.
Yeah.
What do you think, both of you, Anna and Ida? What do you think about because as you're both cosplayers and photographers, so obviously you got sort of get both points of view. I mean, if there was one thing you could say to cosplayers when working with photographers, or one thing you could say to photographers and working with cosplayers, what advice would you give for that?
Okay, so as a cosplayer, I often see that photographers often think about the picture instead of the cosplayer looking good. And when you're cosplaying, when you're taking pictures of cosplayers, you kind of have to think about the cosplayer, because cosplay photography isn't really the same as other types of photography.
Yeah, definitely.
You have to present the cosplayer and their cosplay in a good light. You have to make sure that everything looks correct. So always check that the cosplay is on place. If you see a wig cap slipping up, always make sure that they know about it so they can fix it. So stuff like that. Make sure they are happy with the picture, everything like that.
What are you saying?
My one is to if you're a photographer taking photos of a cosplayer, I always let the cosplayer know what's actually in the shot.
Yes.
So if I'm just taking just a headshot, I tell them that it comes down to your chest here, so you don't twist your body, but you don't need to pose your legs.
Okay.
Or the shot includes it's going from that door to that wall, so you need to you can spread out as far as you want. Because to me that's always really annoying, because you spend ages pose really well, and then they just take a face shot.
Oh.
And you're just
I always really appreciate when because obviously cosplayers have poses and stuff that they do. But what I would really want is if a photographer, I really enjoy it when a photographer tells me that pose isn't flattering, do this instead of, I enjoy it when they position me into what looks good, because obviously I can't see myself, and it's just, it's there's no. When I think a lot of photographers get scared to sort of criticize a cosplayer, say that this bit of your costume's sticking out, or just want to fix their hair or whatever, or fix the pose, and I feel like the cosplayer will not mind unless they're an asshole, because they'd rather have nice photos. To be fair,
I do that all the time. I tell my friends, you look horrible right now. And it's not your fault, but the lighting is bad, or something is bad. It's not your fault, but something is making you look bad. So please take something up, and then I will show them on the screen of the camera what they're doing, so they can see it themselves.
Good.
But sometimes it could just be the pose on the face, squeezing their eyes too tight shut because they are trying to
tell you if something's wrong, Yeah.
I also when I do photography, I don't mind. No one's ever really done this to me, but to my friends, I always ask permission if I can tweak them, because then I'll run in and I'll just move their foot, or just move the face a little bit like this, or I will physically move them. But obviously you have to ask first, and
just take your face and
photographers don't ask a little bit when it's something that they could clearly see in the photo, when looking through the lens, and they can clearly see that it is something that could easily be fixed, but then they don't bother asking.
Yeah. one of the things that used to really bother me, Zatanna, I'd post with Zatanna, and I don't have my top hat here, so I can't show you, but I used to pose like this. Hang on, where's my... Okay, so I used to pose like this. And so you see the wand or cards or whatever, and I'd have my other hand here, but no one would tell me you can't see my hand behind my head. So it looks like I've just got like this one arm just floating around like this. And it wasn't until my brother told me, like, your arm's missing, you should move it out like this, that suddenly I was like, oh my god, all my photos, I'm missing an arm. Because my brother's a fashion photographer, so he studied at the London College of Fashion, so he's got this huge fashion, like, photography background, and my dad is, like, a photographer, and, like, all my family are photographers, so I just, like, what's wrong with this picture? And they will tell me what's wrong with the picture.
Yeah.
And that's how I get all my posing tips.
Another sort of pet peeve with cosplay photography, when, but I suppose it's sort of, I think this is kind of depends on the photographer and cosplayer, when photographers don't edit out something that's a tiny, tiny little mistake, like say someone's got a spot or whatever, or you know, or just something that's clearly not meant to be there, or they clearly wouldn't mind fixing. And obviously with bigger things, and I appreciate when photographers come and ask, you know, can I Photoshop this? But like if it's just small fixes and stuff, when they don't do it because they don't want to Photoshop the cosplay, it's like, Photoshop away. I look much better when I'm Photoshopped. Like any photographer thinks I can look better Photoshop me, please.
I always Photoshop things that are obviously not permanent. Like I don't Photoshop like moles or something like that, but I Photoshop with pimples because they're permanently. So
or like a bit of makeup or whatever that's sort of gone away a bit.
Or like stray threads on the costume.
Yes. Oh, when people don't Photoshop that out, that's so frustrating.
It depends on how much is wrong with the costume. Sometimes people are like, can you Photoshop this to look perfect? And there's so much stuff sticking out. And I would have to spend half an hour just Photoshopping things out before I could start editing the picture. Then so there's like a clean line between how much you can do and
well, I'm like, because you know, when I'm gonna get photos done at MCM or whatever, I'm gonna be like, you know, photographers, I know, like, can you just edit out my piercing, because you know it's like half a second thing and it would just make it look better. And so
one of my peeves as a cosplayer is, what would you know about photography? Which I think Ida touched on before.
Beautiful face you had there, Ida.
It annoys me so much when people don't take me seriously as a photographer. So it's like, ultimate pet peeve right there.
I love it as well, because people are like, oh, what would you know about photography? I'm like, oh, my brother's a fashion photographer, and like, you know, and they're like, oh, so he must just be like, you know, has he done a photography course or whatever? I'm like, no, he graduated from London College of Fashion. He's done some photo shoots for like Vogue and Burberry and stuff, and people are just like,
nice. I know quite a lot about photography because, like, my whole family of photographers. My gran and granddad used to teach photography at one of the unis up here as well. Like, my cousin's a photographer, my uncle's a photographer. My mum used to be a travel journalist and did a lot of photography as well. So it's like, you know, I've got a lot. And I used to do photography myself, but I always did more sort of nature and wildlife photography. But yeah, like, I know quite a bit about photography. And like when you do get some snooty people. A while back, like a few months back, a cosplay photographer saying that you're not a real cosplay photographer if you're just using a point and shoot camera. It's like,
I hate
it's
that.
just like, doesn't matter.
Okay, so we've got some cool comments on the chat from people who are like about the photography. Like,
okay, let's have a look.
So we've got like one. Did you take a photography course or did you learn over the years? We'll come back to that later. Jennifer Druitt said, bad photographer story. A friend of mine had pictures done a year ago at a con. She asked this person if they wanted to photograph me. They said, I'm cosplaying photographers, not crap fancy dress.
Oh my god! That's so rude!
Imogen wants to say to Starbit, brush your wig, you mess. Anne says, it's always a pet peeve when a photographer doesn't notice the pose might come off static or awkward on the picture.
Yeah.
Or awkward on the picture, so it's too static. Oh, wait. Jennifer said, I meant I'm photographing cosplayers, not crap fancy dress. But, yeah,
No, I feel like it's one of those things though that's like quite instinctive. And actually, earlier today, me and Ida were chatting about this. Like with all sorts of art forms, there are people who sort of have an instinct towards it. Can see where something needs to be.
Yeah.
See that, and it's like it's not really something you can teach, is it?
No.
No.
What do you say? There was a comment about big training for photography. Like, what did you two do? Because are you both? Because
How did we get into it?
I got my first camera for my it's a Norwegian thing, a confirmation. When you turn 15 years old, the family comes around to celebrate. That's when I got my first camera, so that's when I started taking pictures. No one in my family are photographers, but my father used to collect photography equipment, so I kind of got some of it from there. Most of it I've learned by myself, and I went to. In our high school, we have different specializations that you can take, like cooking or designing, and I took media, which means that I had some extra experience in photography, but basically I just learned to use my manual settings on my camera. That's all I learned there. So mostly I'm self-taught as a photographer, but I'm still a professional photographer, god damn it.
That is so fun.
Photography, and then you're a professional photographer.
Your photos are gorgeous. Can you take all the photos?
I'm so envious of your photos. I look at them and I'm just like, because we did cosplay over the weekend, food and cosplay for Martine.
Yeah.
Lemon Tea, for anyone who doesn't know who she is.
Yes.
And oh my god, like literally every single one of her photos is Starbit cosplay, Starbit cosplay, Starbit cosplay.
Same with Sam Victoria and that bunny.
I want your skill. But for me, my dad's been taking photos since he was about 12 or 13 years old. So I've always been around a camera. Like my entire life has been around. And
my grandparents
moment
had a dark room, so it was really cool in the house, like a proper dark room where they would like process things.
Yeah, we've got all that. We've got all that in the past. But he used to get us all the little like disposable point and click cameras because he was like, this is back in the day of film, and if his children got hold of the big cameras and tried to take photos, like how much money it used to cost to like develop film. So the moment digital cameras were invented, he bought them. We've pretty much every year had a new, like, the latest models of camera. And it was a good idea because my little brother had just turned about 4 or 5 years old, and he decided he wanted to be a photographer. So he got hold of this digital camera and just started taking photos everywhere. But him being about, 2.5, 3 feet tall, he took photos of everything that's about 1 meter high. So when we went through the menu card, it was all door handles and like table corners and chair legs. So I pretty much just been brought up with that. And when I was about 15 again, I a Nikon D40, and then I went back, and I'd always just use the automatic setting, and then I went backpacking, and that's like hours and hours and hours on trains and like 24-hour, 26-hour trains, and like being on a bus for like hours. So I decided to start playing around with all the settings and like master all like the manual settings and the shutter settings and stuff while I was stuck on trains for 28 hours. And so I love travel photography. Like for me, it's all about travel photography and taking photos of like
that's the sort of photography
tiny things. You might I love taking photos of minute details of stuff. So like when I went to China, getting to that. So like when I went to China, there's this huge vase.
Do you want to explain what that project is?
Yeah. So it's not because when I went to China, there's this massive vase, and it's a huge jade vase. The whole thing was carved, and everyone's trying to go right back and take photos of like the whole thing. Whereas I was sitting there with my close-up lens and taking photos of details that are about that big, but in the photos they're just so beautiful and clear. And then I got to cosplay photography. I got back into it again. And one of the things that my dad always asked me is to send him photos of the details of my costumes. So he loves seeing all the fabric or the stitching, or if I make something, how it's all glued together and things. And so I've kind of always taken close-up stuff of my own costumes because I love it. And then I went to a con, and I picked up 2 lenses, thinking one of them was my 30mm lens and one was my 50. But I actually picked up my 50 and 85mm lens, and those are my close-up lenses. And I was at a convention, super crowded. I'm like, okay, I can't take portrait pictures because to take a portrait picture with an 85 or 50 mil, I have to be like several meters away. So instead, I was like, I'm just gonna take a photo close up. So instead of having to go far away, I was like really close up and took loads of photos, like the details of people's things. Like I've got pictures of like Martina's, got close up pictures of her belt, and Kenny cosplay stuff. I took photos of all like the bits and pieces on his costume, like he specially printed like like his hustler symbol, and like Nika Beyond Believing Cosplay, like she had the beautiful fabric for her Aria costume.
Yes.
So I kind of took a photo of that fabric. So I did it because I was like, you know, I'm bored. It was something different. Like I've seen no other photographer do this, and actually I've had such an amazing response from cosplayers. Like,
I love the photo that you took of my Brienne with it. Like, because you got the belt. It's not a belt that I made, but
it doesn't matter. I don't care if it's made or not. Like whether you handmade. Well, obviously it had to be made at some point, but I don't care if you yourself made it because, you know. But yeah, no, I was so scared to put them up. Like I was messaging Eddie, the guy who runs Food and Cosplay, like, I don't know whether we should put these up, I don't know. And eventually he's like, just put them up, and if people don't like them, you don't have to continue it. And I was like, okay. And I've had such a good response, like people loving the fact that I'm paying attention to the costume, not
I like that, because,
player,
like, you know, sort of like, you know, why prejudging at competitions is good, because they see detail. 10 hours embroidering this tiny little thing, and you don't see it. And I just love the fact, like, yeah, the projects, and you know, you can see the details in it, and that's what makes the costume come together, which I really like.
Which means, Ida, if I see you at MCM, I'm getting up close and personal with your costume.
Oh no!
No, you do get to have a say on which part of the costume I photograph.
Okay, good. Don't take pictures of the sleeves, please. No.
The buttons would be quite cool on Llewellyn, because they're really fancy little buttons, aren't they?
Yeah,
I'll even do like face paint. If you're really like, I like your face paint for it, and I'm just like,
or it might.
If you're feeling like it's particularly on point, I will take photo of just like this bit.
You should take photos of the whole Dragon Age group.
Yes,
we're so excited about the convention. It's going to be awesome. We've got.
What day are you doing the Dragon Age group?
Saturday.
Yeah,
Saturday. That's what I'm doing. Soccer and Kintaro with my brother.
Yeah, well, pretty sure.
Your sound keeps popping
Yeah,
up.
my sound just cut out. I was just like,
Yeah.
So you're taking over the Fox?
Yeah. Well, you know the big long wooden table that's
there?
Yeah. Well, Rebecca in our group, who's our Josephine, has got the map of Thanos from Dragon Age, so we want to like put it on there and have like the big war table that they have in Dragon Age. And, yeah.
Oh my god.
We can have so many photos.
We're going to stab the table.
Yeah. Yes. And then we'll stab that table for a photo.
Gonna stab it.
I can't wait to see you guys.
Yeah. I'm so excited. It's going to be awesome. Like, some of the progress of the people in our group is absolutely stunning. Like Rebecca's Josephine, her work is impeccable. It's so good. It looks like 100% accurate to the character. It's like absolutely in awe.
I sense that Ida is really excited about this group.
I'm so excited. Everyone are my babies. They're my Dragon Age babies, and I'm going to protect them.
I really need to play Dragon Age Inquisition. I love Dragon Age so much.
Oh,
it's an amazing game. Because I want it on the PC, and it's £50 for a download on PC, and I just can't justify that much money for a PC game.
Yeah, you can. It's worth it. It's worth that money.
It's not worth the money when it means you can't eat for 2 weeks.
Who needs food when you have Dragon Age?
I'll play Dragon Age Origins again and again and again, because to me, Dragon Age Origins is like the perfect game. After Mass Effect. Mass Effect's the best.
Dragon Age cosplayers, because like for LSCC, I want to do my Canary Inquisitor, and then at some point next year I want to do Flemeth with hopefully Eda's going to be my Morrigan. She's going to be my baby.
And there's no sleeves in Morrigan.
Yes.
There's only one tube thing.
I want to find some Dragon Age to cosplay as well. Like I'm really tempted to do a Grey Warden mage because I was gonna do Bethany, but I was like, if I do Bethany Grey Warden mage, everyone's just gonna be like, you're a mage, Grey Warden, but they won't necessarily know I'm Bethany because Oriental.
Join the squad. We have T-shirts. We have actual T-shirts for the group.
We have T-shirts and cookies.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get the T-shirt.
I'm gonna get my T-shirt.
And I'm just gonna sit here and not wear a Dragon Age T-shirt.
It's odd because like I'm on camera. I just need to find it. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere.
Oh my god! I'm going to check.
Yeah,
We've got lots of comments and stuff. I'll go through comments and things.
God.
I really love a photo of my satin stitch. Oh, okay, that's when I did the Asami photos. Do you have general advice on photographing, like lights, camera setting, lens, and such things?
Wait for you to get back.
Yeah. Making things and being amazed by the level of detail you can put into the most simple things or the little things to be happy about. Gary, do you guys have any horror stories of photographers that you're okay sharing with?
Oh, I'll have a think.
I've got a few. I love close-up photos of costumes because I really enjoy the handcraft, and as a cosplayer myself, I love when people notice small details. Okay, so we've got two questions, and Imogen says that's her job, and someone says they love you, Beth.
Oh, who?
So we've got
Who
advice
said
for photographers.
lie?
Got advice for photographers and horror stories with photographers.
Okay. Do you have any advice for photographers either with like lights and camera settings and reflectors and stuff?
Yes.
I would say start without lights first.
Get a reflector.
You always have a reflector.
Yes, get them because they're super cheap and they're so amazing to have because you don't really need any more professional lights or flashes or anything when you have a reflector because you just put it against the sun and wow.
And also, reflectors can double up as wind machines.
Yes. Yes.
What do?
Wind machines.
Reflectors. When you wave a reflector, it becomes a wave machine, like an air machine. So all your hair goes all like. Whoosh, whoosh.
Oh my god.
Scandinavians call that the Carola
Can you please do that? When I cosplay Aloy at MCM, can you please do that? Like the hair flowing in the wind would be perfect for the character. I want flowing hair.
Yeah, but no, one of the things like gets me, everyone's like, oh, you need a flash, you need this, and I'm like, no, you don't. If you start off without using the flash, like, get to know your camera first. Like before you even go into flashes and all the fancy stuff, get to know your camera, know what it can do, know what you can do, and then learn how to use Lightroom.
I love Lightroom. I had a conversation about this actually with David Kane Photography back in MCM May, and we were saying that it's not like you get so many people, especially who just start doing cosplay photography, and they buy a camera that's a couple of £1,000, and they buy loads of fancy flashes and lenses, and then the photos still look like crap because
yeah, you need to learn how to use your camera before you do anything else.
And noticing it's not about the camera, it's about the photographer. Like a good photographer can use a tiny little non-DSLR point and shoot camera and still get great photos because it's about the camera.
As a photographer, if you do take up cosplay photography, there are some photographers who literally just post every picture that they've taken up.
Oh.
You get pictures where you're like kind of posing, and they take a photo of you like with your eye, with like you're blinking, and you're like, and then they put it up because you got this horrible face on. You're like, if someone's just don't put that up. Just no one wants to see it.
Thank God Facebook lets you untag photos. Like I swear to God, if that didn't exist, my life would be hell because I'm not very photogenic. I find it very hard to get photos of myself that I like, and it's just I'm very, very happy when a photographer comes and asks me first if I'm happy with the photos, because then I can say like, could you please not post this one, because I honestly I don't photograph well at all, especially my face, and I'm just always really happy when it does that.
I'm gonna photograph you like one of my Norwegian girls.
No, your photos are always great. You always look lovely in your photos, but then suppose it's because like a lot of your photos are you give your friends your camera and get them, and you like direct them, don't you, like in how to take a photo?
Yes, I have learned Bat Bunny cosplay. She's basically my, I'm learning her everything, and she's become so good that she has finally gotten herself her own camera, and I'm so proud.
I feel like a proud mum.
You're like the mummy cosplayer.
Mummy photographer and cosplayer. Like, I pretty much got her into cosplay as well as photography, so I like where this is heading.
I've never actually
Another thing that also,
like,
don't be scared to change angles as well when you're taking photos, because I don't know if you guys remember some of the girls did was it Walking Disney? It was Nisa's Walking Disney group. And I took a photo, like, instead of going up the stairs like this, I took a photo at angles, so, like, they were standing diagonally in the image. And so many people were like, you're not supposed to take photos at that angle. I'm like, well, it works for this image. Like, you shouldn't be scared to, like, change up angles and stuff of the camera just because it's not convention. I mean, it might not look good, but at least you're trying it.
I really hate when people take photos from down below and they want position well, because
that only works for some people. There's few people in the world that work that.
I'm very tall, so like photos from down below of me are just all chin and all like belly flab and stuff. I don't look good from down below. And so like, please, if you're taking photos of me, take it from like try and reach your arms up and get the same height as me.
I've actually noticed because I'm going to Calgary. I've been looking at all like all the Canadian photographers and stuff, like Destiny's Curse and like William Tan photography and stuff. They do a lot of up shots. Like they take a lot of photos where they're standing above the cosplayer and down this way, which I think is really interesting because in the UK it's like everyone is very forward. Like they take more like portrait shots and things, whereas these ones are like they're from like up here, which I just think is really interesting because I would hate someone doing that because I'm just like.
I think not many photographers here take portrait shots. I feel like a lot of they take all sort of action shots and photos. I do. I see photos from portrait actual shots, which I think would be nice to be done a lot more. But I do rarely see that in this country. Like see photographers do like photo shots.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
I
you haven't taken any photos of me yet, either.
I will take so many pictures of you.
The reason I end up having so many portrait shots is because I'll take a big wide shot and I'm like, no, just crop, no, crop it, no, crop it, and then eventually it's like, yeah, that works. So,
we're going to show t-shirts that we got for our group, for our Dragon Age group, because we're awesome. We have t-shirts.
Is that what it's about? I saw Ida posting pictures of it, and I was like, what?
Dragon Age group!
Yes! Yeah! Mine's all like bloodstain, and it's got a thing, and then on the back I've got that with a lovely drawing from Ida of Solus.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm talented.
Talented.
So talented.
I'm so talented.
Yeah, well, because we're, absolute nerds for Dragon Age, we've,
I don't know what you're talking about.
One day, and we're like, why don't you make t-shirts? So now everyone in the group is getting a t-shirt.
Get me started on Mass Effect. Get me started
on
Mass Effect.
We're going to wear them in the evening, and we're going to look so cool.
I'll try and get you guys in the food and cosplay vlog, and you can all be nerds on there.
Yeah, we're all gonna go to the FOP wearing the t-shirts with like our wigs still on, and
that'll be so good.
Yeah.
So let's go. This other question that we had was nightmare stories with photographers.
Okay. Why don't you start?
So I've got one or two, but my favorite one is I think it's my favorite one. At the time, I honestly thought I was going to die, but we were doing a big like X-Men shoot. We had some amazing people doing this X-Men shoot, and we'd booked it for May and April. So we were like, April's gonna be nice and warm. We'll be wearing Spandex. But that was the year when Christmas, winter didn't finish till May. So it was snow on the floor in April. And when we did the X-Men shoot, there was about like 2 or 3 inches of snow on the floor. And so we were all in these spandex suits, freezing our asses off and stuff. and all the photographers were all like wearing all their really big like jumpers and things, and all of us in like our spandex, and like the only person who was even like remotely warm was Emma Frost because she had a cape, but even that cape wasn't that thick. And yeah, so we're all freezing, and one person nearly well she didn't do that version. She did a really nice version.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're doing all, like, we're freezing. We're like kind of like, can you guys hurry up? We're all freezing. Like, can you quickly, like, between all the shots? And they're like, yeah, it's fine, it's fine. And they're like spending an hour setting up between shots, and we're like, oh. So we set a fire in like where we were to try and warm ourselves up, which resulted in several wigs being melted, a few spandex suits being like I think someone's belt got stuck to like melted to the suit, so she couldn't take the belt off. Then we went outside. They wanted to take this big, like, a big wide shot of all of us and then Photoshop in a blackbird. And when I was out there, they told me to put my foot forward slightly, and my foot went straight through some thin ice and into a puddle. And I was stuck there for 10 minutes with my foot in frozen water. And when I got back in, like, I couldn't feel my foot or anything, and I was sitting there just like, I can't feel my foot. I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose my foot. And I was trying to ask them, like, have you guys got something warm I could around my foot? And in the end, we had to steal someone, like, one of the other girls had a pair of Uggs, and she was just like, just stick your feet in these Uggs. And, like, and you know what the best bit is? That was 3.5 years ago. We still haven't seen the photos.
What?
We still haven't seen the photos. And it was just like, but you know, like we all lost costume.
You contacted the photographers?
Oh yeah, no. That's when I had the big argument of, oh, what would you know about photography? You're just a cosplayer. And I'm like, well, I know about because my brother is a fashion photographer, and all he does is edit photos and do photo shoots. So I know how much work goes into photography, and I know like, I know what it takes to be a decent photographer. And they were just like, oh well, you wouldn't know, you're a cosplayer, blah, blah. And I was just like, you know what? I'll just count my losses. At least we all came out alive. Like, there's one girl who nearly got hypothermia. I nearly drove her to the hospital because she was, like, on the verge of, like, she was shivering so much, and I could just see her starting to stop shivering.
Oh,
and I was just like, uh-oh. Like, you know that moment when you're just like, oh, God, hypothermia's about to kick in.
What about you, Ida? Have you got any horror stories of photographers?
Not really. Maybe I've been the horror photographer. I once made Batman cosplay go on ice. Like, there was a river, and the river was frozen solid, and I made her step out on the ice. The picture turned out awesome, though, so she might have drowned.
It shifted you across slightly.
It was, so that was fun. Mostly for me, it's that I don't really trust other photographers because I've seen so many bad pictures of me taken. So especially when you're a photographer, you know when other photographers are making mistakes. Like they have horrible lighting, or they just put you in an angle that you don't work with, and you try to like get yourself to the angle you're the most comfortable.
When I get positioned sometimes at like a straight on angle, and it's like with my body shape I need to be sideways, otherwise I look really fat.
Yeah, and then
I get that with Cora because of the size of my boobs. Like, I like a lot of people want me to do like sort of like a twisting pose of Cora with my legs sideways and like this, but because of my boobs and the way the top works, I just look like I'm solid, like just this big solid tube of blue.
That's how
and it's not the most. Cora's the only costume it happens with, and I'm just sitting there just like, oh, like this is really not a good pose for Cora, and but people keep asking for it, and I'm just like.
Just say like, oh no, I've done that pose before, it isn't flattering.
Yeah, no, I do, but people still like, oh no, it's alright, I know what I'm doing. I'm like,
I don't think I've really had any like.
I think she's gone again.
Weird thing, I get people asking me for photos if I'm at a con not in cosplay because of my hair.
Because you're a magical unicorn mermaid.
Like, yeah, I'm a unicorn. but because like I honestly like at LFCC on the Friday, and I
your hair is
on
point today, though. Your hair is great. Your hair is on point today.
Thank you. It's like I've got roots, but no, because I was there on Friday, and I wasn't in cosplay because I travel on Fridays. No.
Gone again.
I was like outside and I was chatting with Lisa from Alice in Cosplayland, and like these two creepy guys are like trying to take photos of me and stuff, and I'm just like, no thanks, you know, I'm not in costume. I was like, no, I'm not in costume. He's like, oh, it doesn't matter. I was like,
Oh my
oh, okay.
when I first got my my black milk Ravenclaw top, I think I wore it to LFCC. I have never received so many compliments at a convention as I did when I wore that black milk top. I was wearing jeans and a black milk top, and like even when I wear like Miss Marvel and some of my Skimpia costumes, did not get that many compliments. But people just walking past going, "Love your top, like your black milk." I'm just like,
because my clothes are quite, you know, ever so slightly quirky, but I get more people complimenting me and asking me for photos and stuff when I'm in normal clothes, but which I don't know, it just seems a bit weird. It's like as soon as I'm not in a costume, it's like if you're not at a convention.
disappeared again. But
yeah,
another thing that bothers me is when you're in costume and you can see someone trying to take a photo while you're moving, or you're standing around for a pose, and you're just like, just ask for a photo, because
I
they
always
try to take a photo without.
Just make a face when that happens. When someone tries to take a sneak picture of me, I always. That
your
usually.
dirt face are the best, Ida.
I've been told about your dub faces.
I have a collection of them on my computer.
So, well, I know what I'm doing when I meet you. It's like dub face, dub face, dub face.
You gotta do banana. Let's see your dirt face.
Me?
Yeah.
I know my normal go-to dirt face is like.
Do a dirt face. Go on. Yes.
Or I go. Kind of thing. There's a few. They're usually on Instagram.
But like, if I get a photo, like when I've spotted the photographer taking a photo of me while I'm eating, I just literally like turn around, my face full of food, and just like don't. It's just
do that. Like you just be like you'll just see them like kind of like as you go, and you're like, if you just ask me.
Trying to be so sneaky.
Like you're just turning around and you can see they've just taken a photo. And you're like, just if you just ask me, like.
Yeah, I don't
pose nicely.
I understand people get awkward.
But
it's less rude to ask and whether someone would like a photo or not, than just take it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you'll have a nicer picture of the cosplayer.
I know. I don't get it. I don't get it. If you just ask. It's like, so my aunt is a big offender of that. She like went to Manchester Comic Con and she's not looking at all the costumes and she posted like a load of pictures on Facebook, and practically all of them were unposed, like just taken of people walking by, and there were people like looking at her just like in the photos, and it's just, and I was just like, had to say to her, it's like, you know, you don't do that, you have to ask. And she's like, oh, it's fine, some of them were busy. It's like, yes. Oh god.
Oh, it's always fun time.
Yeah. But then it's always so nice when you do, you know, like a few weeks after the con.
See, I don't get many pictures from conventions. To be fair, I usually wander off on my own and like don't really talk to many photographers anymore.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wander off, and everyone's like, "Why? We've got no photos of you." It's like, that's because no one ever takes any photos. I think last time I went to MC, last con I went to, I think in the last 2 years, the most photos I've had taken of me was when I was dressed as Korra, which at KatsuCon, I have 3 photos of me from KatsuCon dressed like Korra that aren't selfies.
I've got barely any photos done at LFCC because like I was just feeling like shit really all day. But at the moment, LFCC.
You keep zoning out halfway through sentences. It's amazing.
Do I? You keep doing your
thing. Watching Frozen again.
Yeah. Oh. I love it.
We will melt you with love.
No, I feel like
maybe it's. I was just saying maybe it's a sign from the internet saying that, you know, go away.
Yeah, we've been doing this about an hour.
We're verging on about an hour now.
Wrap this up soon. Okay. So, okay.
Yeah.
One thing you could say to photographers when working with cosplayers, and one thing you could say to cosplayers when working with photographers. Anna.
Okay. For photographers who want to work with cosplayers, always give direction. Even if the cosplayer seems to know what they're doing, give them direction. Like, even if it's just tweak your face this way a little bit, or just like lift your arm a little bit, or your weapon is just out of shot. Just little things. And as a cosplayer, like to a cosplayer who is working with, if they know what they're most of the time, if they know what they're doing and they tell you to do a pose which feels awkward, like your feet don't feel like they're in a natural position, do it anyway.
Yeah, because it probably looks good.
Yeah. So there's sometimes when your feet, like sometimes you have to put your feet in a particular way and it just feels really horrible. Or like your legs, you need to put like one leg over another like a little bit more than they should be.
You know,
in the photo,
the Marvel
it looks like
superhero body twist where you get like your boobs and your butt in at the same time.
Yeah, like the.
What about you, Ina? One thing you could say to photographers and one thing you could say to cosplayers.
To photographers, always keep the communication open between the cosplayer and you, so that you can always make sure that they're comfortable, because you can see it very well when they're not comfortable. So make sure that you show them some of the pictures you're taking already to make sure I know what I'm doing. I'm trying to make you your best. So make sure that they feel that they're not looking stupid or foolish. And as a cosplayer, basically, what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say.
Listen to the photographer, maybe?
Yes, listen to the photographer and don't be afraid to try new things. Like, I see some cosplayers always do the same thing with their
same
face.
Pose,
same expression, same everything.
So some people just like, that pose, never change. Every single photo is exactly the same.
And that gets old very quick, and they expect you to keep taking pictures still when they're in the same pose.
Yeah.
So try some new stuff. It's nothing.
Yeah, have like multiple poses prepared.
Oh, I have one that massive pet peeve of mine, which I've just remembered through the advice thing. So, if you're organizing photo shoots away from conventions, I get this a lot where like some people ask me to do a photo shoot, like they want to take photos of me, and then that's it. Like they expect me to organize it, they expect me to arrange it, when they are the one who asked me first. So if you are the person approaching someone else for a photo shoot, I believe it should be you who organizes it.
Yes.
So be proactive. So if you ask someone, like with Beth, when I did a photo shoot with Beth, I was like, what days can you do? And it was pretty much like, I've got this day, and this day, and so pick a day. And the only thing I had to ask her was like, do you know anywhere that you like that's around where you live that would be good?
Because obviously I don't. Like a perfect place.
Yeah. So if you ask someone for a photo shoot, like I'm doing a massive there's gonna be crazy, like we're doing videos and stuff, but a DC bombshell shoot this Saturday.
Oh, cool.
And we there's 5 or 6 people, but because I'm the one who organized it, I don't expect anyone else to be arranging like their own transport if they're stuck. Like I will go pick them up. Or I don't expect anyone to organize the date or the location. That's all my responsibility. And if someone's missing a prop, I keep telling them, if you're missing something, come to me and I will try and sort it out. Like, if you need a microphone and you can't find one, come to me and I will help try and find you a microphone. Like, even if you're a cosplayer who asks the photographer, you should be the one who organizes the location. You should be the one who organizes the dates and stuff.
I definitely agree.
I
definitely agree. If you're
it just bothers me so much.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. If you're the one who's asked to do something, you should be the one taking responsibility for it when it happens. Like, because otherwise it is just a bit rude to like, ask someone to do you a favor and then just like expect.
Yeah, because I've had so many people like, oh, I'd love to take photos of your Rise from Persona 4, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, I'll do a photo shoot with you. And then like a month down the line, they're like, so when are we doing this photo shoot? I'm like, I don't know, you tell me. You're the one who asked me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it helps the photographer as well when they're the one organizing it, because they're the one taking the pictures, so they obviously know most about where the backgrounds are going to look good, the locations and everything. So it's it benefits everyone.
Yeah,
think
so it's like, if you're the
I
one
like-
asking, be more proactive about it instead of just expecting the person you asked to, like, arrange it, or... Because that just, just drives me crazy.
I say to photographers, players, I say, like, for photographers, if you've organised a shoot with someone, definitely go and research the character if you can, and so you can sort of get a feel for it, because obviously you get some photographers who just have the same style with every single photo they take, and like when sometimes it's not really suitable for the character for that style to be there, even though it still can look nice, sometimes it just doesn't really fit the character. And I feel like if a photographer goes and research it and get some photos, maybe like some reference photos, then it can really help. Like Eddie from Freedom Cosplay, when I first shot my Brienne, he was the first photo shoot I did at LSCC.
And she's gone.
So, I just feel, it's like researching the
But it's one
character.
thing, like,
I feel also,
it's like,
as well, especially for photographers, not to be shy when asking the cosplayer to do something, because the cosplayer will not mind if you're, well, unless they're an asshole, they're not going to mind if you say, can I just move your arm here or whatever, so it looks a bit better, because ultimately they...
But also, on that thing, like with the cosplayers, if you have a particular shot that you want, don't be scared to ask the photographer. It's like with the poster shots we did for your Brienne, that you wanted to try and do that side shot, and we did that, and then Millie was like, I really want a poster shot as well, so that's when I bought my special light. And like, so if there's a photo that you want, that you have in mind, ask the photographer to do it.
Ever since I started making Brienne, I wanted to do the season 3 poster shot, so like if you haven't, if people
I'm so glad I could help.
Yeah, so it's like sort of a portrait shot of the face, and it's like with blue lighting coming from one side and sort of north from the other, and they did them like for
Game of Thrones this season. Imogen's just said something which made me really laugh in the chat.
Okay.
When you do a makeup post or share a photo and people tell you to do another character.
Ida? No, I think you should cosplay Melisandre.
And I want to punch you in the boob. I'm like, that's my biggest pet peeve. People telling me to cosplay Melisandre. That is my biggest pet peeve.
If I had £1 for every time someone told me to cosplay Chun-Li or Mulan, I would be able to buy myself a Mercedes. I get it all the time. Have you ever considered cosplaying Chun-Li?
Like, wow, what made you think of that? What made you think of that suggestion?
Well, there's also when I told people I was interested in Battlestar Galactica. Have you ever considered cosplaying Boomer? It's like, is it because she's Asian? No, you just look a lot like her. It's because I'm Asian, isn't it?
I never have that. I never really have like people saying to me like, "Oh, you should cosplay that," but that's probably because like, I don't know, I'm not well known enough. To people
You should cosplay Melisandre.
Oh my god! I did.
It's a great idea.
You know how you're so tall? You should cosplay Brienne.
Oh my god!
That would be great.
I love it. People tell me I should cosplay Mulan, and I'm just like, here's a picture of me as Mulan.
That's the same with me and Danny. Thankfully, I get more comments that I should cosplay Danny than Melisandre. So, Danny is my most cosplayed character ever. So, right, cosplay Daenerys. Here's an album with 50 pictures of me as Daenerys.
Yeah. Yeah, you get absolutely tons of comments.
Huh?
You consider cosplaying Cat.
You keep freezing again.
Oh my god. So you get loads of comments saying you should cosplay Katniss as well.
Yeah. Who is that? I don't know.
It's just this person from this movie who you probably have never heard of.
The Hungry Games.
The Hungry Games. Dude, we should do a spoof of that, the Hungry Games.
It's a very
cosplayer version.
Yeah. Well, I think Ida's done a Hunger Games video.
Yeah.
Before, Catching Fire one, which was just magical.
2 videos.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't realise. Right.
But,
should we wrap this up?
Yes, because my dinner is getting cold.
Okay. So yeah, that was episode 2 of the Coscast, and I was actually here this time. So talk about, hopefully something cool. I don't doubt, maybe getting a little bit of advice about
hopefully that was helpful with photographer bits and stuff.
Working with photographers and stuff. So we'll be here like same time next week. I don't know who will be with or whatever. We'll find out later. 2 weeks, sorry. Yeah, 2 weeks time.
Either Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, Monday or Tuesday, whichever it will be. We'll post about it.
Or Sunday if we get American in.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And thank you so much to Ina, Starbit Cosplay, for being lovely and joining us today.
You're welcome. I had a lot of fun getting my frustrations out.
Yes, rant for us. You're welcome to come back anytime.
Oh, I'll come back to you guys all the time. Don't worry.
Yes.
And of course, thank you to Anna for being my lovely co-host.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for turning up this week.
Yeah, okay.
I saw what you wrote about me on your Facebook page.
And I'm Cosplay from Megabethbob Cosplay. So, in a couple of weeks, talk about something new. Talking to the audience here. I'm being a professional, podcaster, okay?
I'm so professional.
Right, so this is Ida and Anna and Beth, and we will be off.